One of the great things about the Overwatch World Cup each year is seeing which dark horse teams or underdogs overperform their expectations and cause favourites they come up against upsets and many issues, such as the UK last year with their win over the USA and competitive series against South Korea. So for today's video, I want to look at the 5 teams who are ranked outside of the top 10 this year, who I believe have a genuine chance of not only qualifying for the group stage at BlizzCon, but also causing some higher seeds problems as well. Although I will say now we all know Ireland's going to go on and win it all, which is why you won't see me discuss them now. But fear not, as I have plans regarding them that I hope to share soon. The first nation I want to talk about is one that has drifted unnoticed by many under the radar for the last few months, and that is Team Netherlands. Even looking historically, you can see that the Dutch are a side that's been on the cusp in recent years of finding a breakthrough on the international Overwatch stage, with third place finishes in their 2017 and 2018 qualifiers that just saw them miss out of a place at BlizzCon. Now looking at their roster for this year, you can clearly see they have a great mix of NA and EU contenders talent, but is hungry to make this the year to finally get over the hump once and for all. In Danz and Brucen on the tank line, as well as a support duo of Crusade and Tri-Spear, the spine of the squad is a foundation of previous experience that I expect will perform well within this double shield meta. But the main reason I'm expecting big things of Netherlands in 2019 is because of the players they have at their DPS position, in particular A10 and Visility. Both have had really strong seasons in their respective contenders' organisations, and are both incredibly talented on a variety of different heroes. I'm expecting the meta to remain somewhat similar to what we've been seeing over the past couple of months, perhaps with a lower priority on Doomfist, but still a May Reaper setup with this pair for instance just sounds great on paper. And given that I thought A10 had a great chance of making the UK roster back when they were trialling, he's certainly ready to cause some chaos, not forgetting Jonah who will provide a great pivot of flexibility if needed as well. Looking at their Twitter, you can see that the Dutch this year are feeling very confident and have built a great environment and atmosphere around the team with players synergising well together, which I reckon this year will finally bring to an end their long wait for a group stage spot at the Overwatch World Cup. Moving on, the next team I want to discuss is a nation that is often recognised as a top Overwatch country, but in reality they are yet to fully realise their potential up to now, and they are Thailand. Initially I lost a lot of hope I had in the Thai team after we discovered that for this year's Overwatch World Cup, players had to be 18 or over, which made their young superstar Patiphan, who recently popped off for Talon Esports at the Gauntlet, ineligible. My concerns increased when I look back at the last couple of years of their World Cup history. We've seen this team struggle to string together performances consistently, with back-to-back exits at the qualification stage, including being the only host in 2018 to not qualify, even if last year they showed glimpses of their potential, though even China one of their toughest tests in a 3-2 defeat. That said, I was excited to see what this team could do at the Southeast Asia Invitational that took place a month ago, to give us a good idea of the strength of this team within this meta, and in the build-up to the Overwatch World Cup. To my surprise, they were far better than I anticipated, with 2 3-0 wins on the bounce, first against the Philippines and then Hong Kong, and saw them face off against a strong Japanese outfit in the final. It has proved to be a more competitive affair. Once again, the Thai squad were the ones to come out on top, to win the SEA Invitational, which confirmed their funding for the Overwatch World Cup this year. Whilst you can certainly debate how strong the level of competition was, which we won't fully know until the prelims begin, what definitely can be said is that Thailand look well practiced within this meta, with an abundance of quality and experience. The strongest area appears to be their tank line, with Titawat continuing to impress as he has within the tier 2 scene, whilst Mickey surprised many, including myself, with a really strong showing on Sigma, another hero that, like Brick, he's perhaps taken time to specialise on, not to mention the occasional Wrecking Ball flex as well. Even away from their veteran tank line, the rest of the team look really good, with Mushroom putting on some fantastic Doomfist performances that I think have really shown he'd be able to somewhat fill the boots left by Patiphan. Overall, I think Thailand have shown in the run-up to the World Cup this year they are arguably the strongest unranked Asian squad, and if they're firing on all cylinders, this can definitely be the year they finally make a splash through to the group stage. The third unranked country I want to discuss as a potential dark horse for the Overwatch World Cup this year is Team Germany. If you've watched the channel for a while now, you'll know that this is a team I've liked on paper since it was announced, but I'm sure people want to point me in the direction of the Euro Cup, where they only finished 4th, arguably against teams in direct competition for being dark horses themselves. The thing you have to remember though, is that as the Euro Cup went on, the German team progressively got weaker and weaker due to some of their players being unavailable during the playoffs, like Moose, which helps explain why they didn't necessarily go all the way. Yet even with a reduced roster, they still managed to push the eventual winners Iceland to all 5 maps, and were quite competitive against a feisty Italian outfit that performed brilliantly themselves. In the same way that the UK last year were really specialised within the meta at the time of the World Cup, I mean the same can be said for this German side, with their initial trials and scrims working within the Clockwork comp before the arrival of Double Shield with Sigma, which means most of the players have been practicing meta heroes for months, with the exception of Moose, but from his small showing at the Euro Cup he looked great on Sigma, so I don't think that transition is going to be a problem at all. The DPS trio of Phi, Radi and Engineer also provides this team a lot of experience and flexibility with the DPS heroes that currently appear strong within this meta, and I expect them to utilise these 3 tactically to cause their opponents issues in different situations. Ultimately, had the whole team been available for all of the Euro Cup, a very good argument could be made that they would have gone on to win it all, and that's why I've got this gut feeling they might cause an upset or two, and perhaps sneak into the group stage. As I mentioned in the Euro Cup, it seems sensible that I end my video with my last two teams that ended up reaching the final, and are probably most people's picks as dark horses for the Overwatch World Cup this year, in teams Denmark and Iceland. Before the Euro Cup began, the clear favourite to many was Denmark, and this was certainly understandable. Their roster has a great mix of talent from the Overwatch League, such as Kellex and Shaxx, as well as from contenders including the EU Contenders champions Fischer and Henningsen from HSL Esports. On paper, everything looked positive, and indeed for most of the Euro Cup it looked great, with the DPS duo of Shaxx and Fischer dominating on the front line, whilst the experience and coordination of their tank and support lines allowed them to flourish. However, for those who didn't see it, Denmark went on to be dominated in the final against Iceland, in a game where they didn't look together and were generally quite scrappy. Whilst this definitely begs some questions, it is important to state that this was still very early on into the team playing together with one another, as well as within the double shield meta, and this is why I expect them to have vastly improved and have worked upon what was one of their few bad performances that we've seen from them. And when we remember they just came up short last year, taking China to 5 maps and beating Australia, this is a team that certainly feels ready to make the leap this year, with arguably their best roster to date. If I'm taking Denmark as a dark horse though, then of course Iceland has to join them in this category, having won the Euro Cup with a dominant win over Denmark. Their difficult run through the playoff elimination bracket at the Euro Cup by comparison showed Iceland's ability to battle through adversity against really tough opposition and come up clutch when it mattered most. I'm sure it was a fantastic experience and learning opportunity for their more inexperienced players, who performed really well throughout the tournament, alongside the coordination and strong performances from their veteran players in Hafikul from Team Envy, as well as Finzi from the Paris Eternal, which sets them up well heading into the World Cup. But even with this success, they themselves were not perfect all the time, suffering a close loss to Bulgaria in the group stage, and having to go to 5 maps in a majority of their playoff matches thereafter, against some opponents who were arguably weakened like Germany. But this ability to perform under pressure in elimination games I believe will be invaluable given the rumoured elimination format of the upcoming Overwatch World Cup qualification. And this experience is something I imagine they'll be able to draw back upon, and give them the edge over the opposition they'll be facing, making them a team that certainly has a great shot of reaching the group stage. I've only discussed 5 teams fully as dark horses for the Overwatch World Cup. However, there are certainly others like Italy, Japan or Taiwan who certainly shouldn't be discounted as well. When I come to my predictions before it begins, they might be factored in a little more. But on that note, I'm going to end this video on my Overwatch World Cup dark horses here, and I'd like to thank you for watching. Over the next few days, I'll be springing back and forth between news and the Overwatch League off-season, as well as other Overwatch World Cup videos that I have planned. So if you enjoyed and don't want to miss out, then please like, subscribe and follow me on Twitter. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.